some people it's about price because they're like, maybe their house has been on the market for a long time and they're like, I cannot bleed any more money. But I think most people are truly just shopping around. Like we all shop around for things, right? So I think truly that's what they're doing, and they might not really know what they're looking for until you start talking to them.
Welcome back to CashFlow, the podcast where we talk about turning properties into profits. I'm your host, Jason Yost, and today, my special guest, Shannon Jay. Shannon, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me today.
I'm so excited to have you on here. This is going to be super fun.
Okay, I'm excited.
I've been blessed to have, we're all blessed to have you in the office doing all the fun stuff. You're like the ambassador of fun. All right, so you... Whether it's a cool event I see you at or getting to, wow all of our clients or our realtor partners, everybody is always like, oh, that Shannon girl, she's great. So figured it's good to have you on here and talk about your experience doing all that stuff.
Well, I'm having a blast. I truly am. I feel
you are having fun. I don't know about that.
No, I am. Seriously, I tell everybody I meet that how much I love my job. I feel like it's the perfect place for me that I've been like looking for a long time. I just really feel like it
now
fits.
We know you're just kissing up to the boss.
No, I mean maybe a little bit, but no, you know that I love it.
No, you're crushing it, and I'm really glad to hear you're having fun.
I am. I truly am.
The biggest thing, a backstory like us getting together is that one of our mutual friends, Ryan Lipsy, was like, hey, I know this gal. She's amazing. If you have anything.
Love that guy.
And I was on vacation going like, hey, well, just go talk to Roy.
Yeah, you're in Cabo. You're like, who is this chick?
But I remember we were like, chatting on the phone. Like everything was cool. I'm like, okay, well, we'll talk to Roy and he's got something.
Yeah.
So the teddy bear, when I got back, he's like, hey, man, like, Shannon, you should do something else. There's a better opportunity. And so, and then we got a chance to talk about you being the ambassador of fun at GoldenWest. And
I love that.
It's been a great fit ever since.
It has. So. Thank you.
All right. So you're enjoying it. So what's the number one thing that you've been doing that you're like, hey, this is different than what I've done before?
Oh, gosh. I think mostly the networking. I mean, I feel like I've worked in different jobs where the referral thing was beneficial and like kind of forming relationships. But I feel like more than anything, like I've never had a job where I'm like going and networking and meeting all these like random people that I never would have met otherwise. And it's just been like so fun and I'm a people person.
You are a people person.
Yes.
Don't let anybody tell you you're not a people person. That is why you're so good at this.
I love meeting people. I love hearing people's stories and just like learning about them because everyone comes from so many walks of life, so many experiences. And I think it's just really fun to meet new people and find out about who they are to their core. I think it's neat.
Well, you've been great at it. And one of the things that I know that we're not successful unless we're meeting new people, unless our real estate professional partners have a good relationship with us. And that relationship starts with you. Talk to me a little bit about like what are the things that you hear from our realtor partners when it comes to property management, other than like, that's trench work. I'm not getting anywhere near that.
What I hear from the realtor partners?
Yeah.
I think that there could be like mixed feelings and reviews, but for the most part, I feel like most of the realtors, especially our realtor partners for sure, are very grateful for us. And because we are helping their client and we're taking care of their client. And I think that that's the biggest thing because we want to help them, they want to help us, and it's a great partnership that they know we're going to take good care of their client.
Do you see... And you're out there every day, and there's like 16,000 realtors, I think we said.
So crazy.
Give or take in San Diego. Again, I know they don't all do transaction, but do you see, for the most part, the people you meet when you get out there networking, that realtors are doing both sales and property management, or is that like it's more like they just don't do property management?
I mean, you'll run across a few that are, dabbling, but I don't think you can ever give as a realtor because that's your specialty, full property management. So there are those who try. I've come across a few clients that are like, my realtor was going to try to help me, but my house has been sitting on the market, and so I really need it to get, rented quickly, and then that's why they find us. So
It makes sense. And it's 100% correct. We talk about it a lot. Like, we want our realtors to crush in their sales game.
Right.
And we know how much time and energy it takes to manage, 1, 2, 300 people's properties.
Yeah.
Like, I can only imagine a realtor trying to pick up a call while at an open house on a Saturday and being like, oh, my toilet's clogged, fix it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
what do you think about, on the client side of the house? You've met so many different clients. Like, what are some of the pains that you hear from them? They're like, I'm here because I feel like I need property management, but what's next?
I think a lot of the houses or, homes that I go to, they are either have been on the market and they can't sell. So they're like, okay, it's time to rent and maybe I'll try again in a year. A lot of them need renovations and they're like, I don't know where to begin. They're like overwhelmed. They're like, I don't know what to do. This is broken. This is, this drywall's peeling off and this faucet's leaking. And so I feel like they just need someone to say like, okay, here's the plan.
Right.
Let's figure this out together. We'll become your property management company. We'll help you with this, get it listed, marketed, rent it. And then they're like, amazing. And it just helps them feel.
That's huge. What you just said. Here's the plan.
Yes.
I hadn't, that's the first time I heard it broken down that way.
Yeah.
But that's actually really awesome. Now, with your background, like, do you feel that when they come to you with like, hey, like, tell me what to do, that you're able to set them up, especially when it's like, hey, like, we need to do a little bit of renovations, not $100,000 in renovations, but we need to do a little bit of work?
I feel like I think the really amazing thing about meeting these people is that every situation is special, right? Every single situation is different. So like, there's not always a set plan, but I feel like with them, they're always so grateful for having a plan. And I don't always know the right answer to give, and I don't pretend like I do. So I'll ask you or Roy or whoever. But I'm learning so much along the way, and I learn every day. But I really think that each plan is so specialized, and usually I can work with the client to come up with a plan too.
It's great the way, and you said earlier, your ability to make and form relationships so that you can take that specific, like, this is what these people need. Right. This is what these people need.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm learning every day, and I've been doing this 20 years.
Yeah.
So it's always great to have when you come back in the office and say, hey, this is a situation. What would you do here? We did this on the last one.
Right.
But what would you do here? I love that takeaway. Is there any like one that recently sticks out where you're like, hey, we kind of had to jump through hoops a little bit to make it work, but it did work?
Yes, actually. There is one recent woman that she had 2 homes actually close to each other. And both were rented, one was moving out. Both were actually rented furnished, and she had somehow got long-term rentals in there for like 5 years that were both furnished, but the one was moving out, so we needed to get everything out of the house, fix everything, get it nice and pretty and, rent ready, and then get new tenants in there for her, long-term tenants that obviously weren't, going to need the furniture. So that was
old furniture.
Yeah, so that was a lot for her because she was an older lady and she was very overwhelmed. She's like, what am I supposed to do with all this furniture, So I kind of helped her. We baby stepped with her along the way and made it manageable. Like, put it all in the garage, let's go through it. Let's get, Goodwill or whatever else we need to donate, whatever. Right. So, and then the other one we're still kind of dealing with, but we're working it out for her. And she was like, just take it out of my hands. Yeah. I just want you guys to take over. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want the stress.
That's so true. That's right. The ability to take something that is overwhelming because they don't do this every day.
Yeah.
And say, no, here's the plan, what we're going to do. Like, in this case, like, first we're going to put this stuff in the garage so we can actually clean up and get the house ready.
Right.
Then you'll go through anything you want to keep. Then we'll be able to move off to the rest, whether sell it or donate it or whatever.
Exactly.
And the rest, if you want to keep it, we could put it in storage. Boom. And in a matter of just a week or two, you're able to get it done, get it ready, and get it rented.
And she was so thankful. Like, so thankful. We just had this amazing connection, too, which I loved.
And I just want to point out, like, she loved you, and that connection was so good.
Yeah.
And I get that all the way. That takeaway is that people are like, hey, it's nice to talk to someone genuine who isn't going to just blow smoke at them. Like, oh, of course you can do that. You're like,
yeah. I was at her house for 5 hours on a Saturday, but it was worth it.
But people need that. Like, people want some personal attention.
Yeah.
In the day and age where everybody's like, hey, I'm, Rocket Property Management, and here's 3%, and you'll never talk to any live person, and here's your app, and if you need anything extra, it's $10,000. But people want someone who's going to sit and hold them and guide them.
I think so. If they're reaching out to us, they're reaching out to us for a reason, right? Like, they need help. Right. They're lost. They need some solutions. And so, like, yes, I think that we can bring that, solution to them, fix the problem.
And again, love the way you made the plans special for her. Now, let's kind of shift gears to people that are more on the investor side. Like, somebody's just like, Shannon, I just want the numbers. Just tell me what you cost. Like, how are you able to, help those people when they start out just focus on price, but then after you peel back the layers, maybe there's more to it?
Yeah. So when someone calls me and that's the first thing out of their mouth, I'm always like, you know what? I would love to give you pricing, but I can't really give you pricing until I know your situation. Right. So I always just take a step back, try to cool them down if they're just like on a, trying to find different costs for different
mission.
Yes, exactly.
Just tell me the number.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, do you have like a couple minutes? Let's just chat for a second. Tell me about what's going on. Like, why is the reason you're looking for property management? And I always will start with that. I would say like 9.5 times out of 10, people will respond to that. And you can, have a conversation with them. And then you give them some like advice and some reasoning. And they're like, okay, well, maybe I'll let you come out to my property then. Yeah.
Okay, maybe you're not a crazy person. Yeah. You got some sense.
Exactly.
Tell me more. Do you find that it really isn't about price, or just using that just because they don't know what else to ask? Or
obviously some people it's about price because they're like, maybe their house has been on the market for a long time and they're like, I cannot bleed any more money. But I think most people are truly just shopping around. Like, we all shop around for things, right? Sure. So I think truly that's what they're doing, and they might not really know what they're looking for until you start talking to them.
Got it. And at the end of the day, when somebody is in the weeds, like, do you have problems when it comes to the price point? Do you have people going like, oh, no, like, that just number won't work? How do you help A, find a price point, and B, like, what do you normally have to talk to them about when they're like, no, my mortgage is X, so that's what I got to get?
Right. That is probably one of the biggest challenges.
I keep coughing. I don't know. Go ahead.
That is probably one of the biggest challenges, definitely, is when you get to the very end of the conversation, the very end of the consultation, and you're talking to them about the price point and what their home could be rented for. You're going over the market comps with them, and they're like, well, my mortgage is this much, so I need to make this much. And you're like, well, unfortunately, we can only list your property. We want to sell. We want to get it rented, right? So we have to look at the market comps and the market analysis and what's going on in the area. And we want to get it for them. We want to get it rented for them quickly. So I just really try to explain, like, do you want it sitting on the market for this many days, possibly lose $100 a day? You've already been losing money because you had it for sale. Now you're trying to rent it. So I really just try to give them the full picture of, we want to take care of you too. Like, we want to rent it for as much as we can get for you also. But we really have to base it on what the comps are.
I think that's, again, you said it right, $100 a day. And let's talk about San Diego, where the average home, townhome, it's almost $3,000 a month. So that is $100 a day.
Exactly.
So even if we want to mess around with the price and let it sit for 2 weeks, you just $1,400 before you maybe lowered to a price point that is somewhat reasonable.
Right.
And even if it takes another 2 weeks to get it rented, you just left $3,000 on the table. Now maybe you got it rented at the price we initially said to go with, but that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Considering that, hey, if you're conservative, it can go a little farther. Why do you think that people are stuck with naming the price versus, taking that like, hey, this is what the market says?
I mean, my honest opinion, half of the time people are like, I want this price, it's because Sally or Joe down the road told them,
Really?
hey, I got this for my property. And they're like, well, then I should be able to get that too because my
Their
place
property's,
is nicer.
yeah, their property's no good. Mine's way nicer.
Exactly. So that's what happens a lot. That's like, I feel like what I stumbled upon the most is I was like, okay, well, your property's a little different. So.
Interesting to hear that. And what is the best way that you go about kind of determining, a price range? It's not just science, right? I mean, there is a little bit of, you kind of got to know where you are, what you're,
And this has definitely been a learning curve for me, as you know. I'm constantly I'm not second guessing myself, but I'm constantly always double, triple, quadruple checking because I want to make sure when I give them the number or the range that I feel comfortable with it, that I know what I'm talking about, so they don't come back at me like, what do you mean? Right. This is not even in the ballpark type of thing. Like maybe they got it from somebody else.
Are you talking about my house?
Yeah.
Am I the right client you're talking
exactly. About? So I always make sure I'm confident and then I go in and then I can explain it to them properly.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between, quoting pricing over the phone or the internet versus like when you actually step foot inside the property?
Oh my gosh.
Is it really night and day? Or
I
a lot
think
of people
so.
Are just like, tell me over there. Just send me
I know.
email.
I think it's huge because really like when I get to the property, I base it on like, okay, what does the neighborhood look like, okay. Right? Are you like on a really busy street or corner? Are you in a cul-de-sac? What do the homes kind of look like around you? I feel like that's a big thing. Like, what is inside of your property? Like, it might look great in pictures that were like on Zillow or something, but like when we look at it, then there's like, oh, things are cracked and breaking. And so it's really like, we can't go off of
the 5-year-old pictures from Zillow.
Exactly.
They don't tell the full story.
Yeah. So yeah, very important to get to the property to give accurate market comps and rental price.
Got it. And when you're looking at a range and just, are you comfortable like with a super tight range, or do you, how do you find that happy medium to say like, look, I know I can get it rented here, but up here it could happen. Like, what's your top and bottom? How do you go about it?
I really base it on what the tenant is willing to kind of like put forth and kind of what they're feeling. So I always am like, let's say your range is like 24 to 2,800. 24 would be like, it would probably get rented pretty quickly, right. Or it might be like you're not necessarily going to do all the upgrades we told you to do.
Sure, makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And then 28 obviously would be like, okay, your place is amazing and beautiful and shiny and sparkly, and you're willing to wait a little bit to get that 2,800.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. The same bedroom bath square footage count in a similar neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's really where your amenities come into play. Like
right.
Your amenities might not drive hundreds of dollars, but they'll help drive where you are in the range. Great. Yeah. That's a great way to say it.
Yeah.
I hear all the time like, well, I got a pool, so I should get $500 more. I'm like, you got a pool, but your tiles from 1992.
Exactly.
You still got the Formica countertops.
Yeah.
Great.
And I think the biggest thing in all of like these littler, like smaller places in San Diego, which we have a ton of them, is like washer and dryer inside and a parking spot. Those are hard to come by. So those always I feel.
I've got an
ADU
good. Out back that should be the same as the 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment down the street. They have a pool, they have laundry, they have parking. You have nothing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Fair enough. That's a great analysis and a great way to look in this. I want us to close up with talking about, one or two more things. The first one being is that now that you've been on this side, when you go meet with clients, what's the number one thing or the number one question you want them to be asking? Like, hey, if you're looking to hire a property manager, whether it be me or whatever, whether it be in San Diego or in, Tempe, what is the question you should be asking as a client?
I feel like I want the question to ask. The question that the tenant, the landlord. The landlord. So the question the question that I want the landlord to ask is like, what are the steps? Because I feel like that's really important to communicate. Like, I want them to know how we operate, how we support, how we conduct business, that we're professional, that we're full property management. Like, I want them to know that we're in it with them. And so I want them to ask the questions like, okay, how will you take care of me from here? After you leave my house, what's going to happen.
Right.
Because I want to lay that all out for them.
Yeah.
I spend time laying everything out for them so they feel secure and safe with us.
They know what they paid for.
Yeah,
Versus
exactly.
like, oh, you got 4%, good, and then like I haven't heard from anybody.
Exactly.
Wait, when is my home gonna get rented?
Right.
Like where are you actually marketing the property?
Yeah.
Wait, you didn't screen it, or you only looked at this?
Right.
That's such a good point, and I think that's a great question layout. Is just like, hey, ask me the steps of how I'm gonna get you from A to B.
Yeah.
All right, and you may have a vacant home and need it rented, but you may have a home that needs cosmetic repair.
Exactly.
Or you may have a tenant who's not paying rent. Like, ask me how I'm going to get you from where you are now to where you want to go.
Right.
And what's our plan. That's great feedback. Okay, one last question. And I think this is a little more fun for you in general. We like to have a lot of fun. I want to know, as far as if you had to pick maybe, one or two top markets that you like to work in San Diego. And San Diego is a big county. What are the markets that you see having the most success rental-wise? And I know we can go all the way up to Oceanside or all the way down to Chula Vista, but just with your crazy 8-ball out and your procrastinator hat on, what's a market that you feel like, hey, this is going to have a lot of success? And what homes have you seen that makes you feel that way?
I would say, like, by far, multifamily units is probably the biggest thing. Like, I've seen, like, they're just growing by the number, and there's so many people purchasing them and then wanting us to manage them for them. And some of them will have tenants in them and some of them won't. So it's kind of always a mishmash of figuring things out. But I would say definitely that. And then maybe just like, I don't know what to actually call it, but like just smaller, probably like 800 square foot units. It seems like there's a lot of those, like
a lot of that
in a big condo complex. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like a studio. Yeah, exactly.
I gotta say, like, one of the things that you bring back that I really like, because I don't get out of the lab too often, is like those people, and we had one the other day, that question of like, hey, I'm buying this, usually multifamily.
Right.
Here's the scenario, like, help me navigate it.
Yeah.
And especially with all the complex laws, every state has them, but San Diego seems to be kind of over the top.
Yes, 100%.
Being able to navigate, like, okay, for these units, you could probably do this, okay? And for that unit, you might have to do that. And for example, we had a fourplex the other day in, I forget the city, but the specific was like, is 3 tenants that were like halfway under market. So market rent was like $2,000 and they were renting for $1,000.
Yep.
And then one of the 4 units was a Section 8. And I was just like, good luck getting the Section 8 turned over, and the other one's like, where are they going to go?
Right.
Market rent is double what they're paying now. Like,
exactly.
What makes you think they're just going to leave and not fight you tooth and nail? So, again, process, plan, having a professional say, like, look, you're buying a great piece, but are you ready to do X, Y, and Z? I think that's good feedback. So, all right. Any last thoughts on how much fun you're having and what you expect the next couple months to look like before we go?
Oh, I'm super excited about the next couple months. I think it's going to be big. I know there's a lot of changes. I feel like just with like ADUs and I don't know, multifamily units. I feel like a lot of people that were trying to sell, it's now going to come off the market and they're going to want to rent. So I hope to be super busy and help some people.
I think we're going to be busy, and I really appreciate you giving insight. There's tons of people out there who they want to hire a property manager, and of course I've heard all the stories, some good and bad.
Yeah.
But to be able to speak with someone who's going to help them formulate a plan and come on board gives them some insight on like, okay, what questions to ask, how does the process work, and how do I choose the best person for me for my situation?
Definitely.
So, Shannon Jay, thanks for joining me
Jason
today.
Yas, you're welcome.
Everybody out there, thank you for tuning into CashFlow, the podcast where we talk about turning properties into profits. We'll see you next time.